Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Suzerain Rizia. Let us continue on from the last off. So we have sent naval vessels to intercept a bunch of mining vessels from Peleus. Dave sent some naval vessels in return, and we are going to go to the UN for arbitration. And I'm feeling pretty confident, honestly. I'm feeling pretty confident. But first things first, let us visit the House of Delegates. I walked down the palm tree-lined path that connected Palace Resna to the nearby House of Delegates. In contrast to the ornate palace, the house was essentially a plain concrete box. Its stripped-down appearance reflected its hurried construction. The only adornment was a phrase chiseled above the entrance, "A populat Rizati," to the Rizian people. I made my way down the hall to the meeting room. Hugo rose to greet me as I entered the empty chamber. We took our seats atop the raised wooden platform in the center of the room. Directly below the platform were two podiums, one for each speaker. Wooden benches for the delegates were arranged in a circle around us. Welcome, Your Majesty. Good morning, Your Grace. The delegates will be on their best behavior with you here today. The Sazon boy might even keep his speeches to under half an hour. Okay. Well, based on what I saw in Salibes, I doubt it. His speech there seemed to be done a number on your daughter. Rebuilding relations with the House of Zahn is a sound strategy, but we mustn't allow them to get too close to the throne. The clock struck 10 and the delegates filed in. Each wore a satin sash in the traditional color of his or her province, red for Rizia Imperia, blue for Vatiquez, yellow for Cardies Monteclar, and green for Bernas. Next came the speakers. House leader Daria de Reva walked in with a well-tailored crimson suit. She had a brisk gait and an impeccable posture. The other delegates practically held their breath as they waited for her to take her place. You said she's a loyalist. Quite right. In all the sessions that I've attended, she's never made a decision that didn't align with the interests of the noble houses. I noted the approving tone in his voice as he spoke of her. Next came in Manson Sazon, clad in a black suit with a forest green silk tie. He waved to his fellow delegates, then to me. I'll wave back to him. Daria picked up a golden bell and rang at once. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to call this meeting of the House Delegates to order. Today we are humbled by the presence of His Majesty King Romus. Long may he reign. A few cries of long may he reign echoed among the delegates, particularly those in red and blue sashes. It is an honor to be here, Madam Speaker. She smiled and continued. The Rizian People's Party has prepared a proposal that Mr. Sazon will submit before the delegates and His Majesty. The delegates will vote on whether to accept or reject it. But this is a non-binding recommendation. The ultimate authority rests in the King and the Royal Council. She flipped open a binder. Today's session is regarding the Rizian Worker Protection Act. Mr. Zaldon, would you like to explain more? Gladly, Madam Speaker. The past 2 decades have seen a marked increase in workplace accidents, particularly in the sectors of mining and manufacturing. The experts I've consulted with have pinpointed several factors responsible for this rise. Chief among them a shortage of skilled labor and growing pressure from our trading partners. Simply put, our corporations have been cutting corners at the expense of human health and safety. Our industry's continued reliance on guest workers, who are paid and trained less than their native Rizian counterparts, is an exasperating problem. Now, a cross-industry coalition of employees and guest workers have bravely approached the Rizian People's Party with a list of requests to convey to our fellow delegates as well as to His Majesty. Among these are standardized workplace safety protocols, upgraded protective equipment, benefits for those injured on the job, and regular site inspections by state authorities. And of course, financial penalties for corporations that fail to meet these requirements. Madam Speaker, Your Majesty, surely you agree with the urgency of this proposition? Rizia's great industries will not flourish as long as our workers are suffering. I looked at Hugo. How does he expect to pay for all this? This is why I never brought these meetings to your attention before. The proposals are impractical at best and ruinous at worst. I suddenly realized the hall had gone quiet. Shall I continue? Please go on, I didn't mean to interrupt. Manus cleared his throat. As I was saying, my party and I believe that healthier workers will lead to a more prosperous society. What we invest in these measures now will pay off tenfold in the long run. Daria sharply knocked on her podium, all eyes turned to her. Forgive me, Your Majesty, but I cannot let my opponent continue with these lies. Manus reluctantly took a step back. Of course, my party believes that worker safety is paramount, but the regulations that have been suggested today are overkill. The business owners in my circles, most of whom are companies spanning generations, simply cannot transform their practices at the whim of the government. Furthermore, they already see employee safety as their responsibility. Shifting our responsibility to the government will do nothing to protect those at risk. It will, however, stifle our economic growth and decrease our viability in the global arena. If our businesses are to remain competitive, it is wiser to incentivize good safety practices than to punish their absence. Madam Speaker, you are on the board of a construction company yourself. Would you ever advise that it voluntarily undertakes the measures that we are describing? Daria, brush off the comment. My point stands. With tensions rising in both our north and our south, we cannot simply afford to an extravagance of the type that Mr. Suzerain is proposing. Our forces should be on achieving better diplomatic outcomes with our neighbors, not meddling in the affairs of our corporations. From near the front door came the sound of a single person applauding. I looked towards the source. Rusty was standing in the back of the gallery, dressed in his usual plaid. He nodded at me and kept clapping. Behind him, leaned against the wall, were two of the Arcasian guards I'd seen in Bronaz. I turned towards you again. Is this going to be a problem? I can't say I'm happy to see Mr. Montoro in these halls, but I presume that he is on the side of the RNC. The most he'll do is further expound on the impracticalities of Mr. Suzerain's proposal. Rusty had stopped clapping now. He was scrutinizing me closely, a gleam in his eye. How nice of you to join us, Mr. Montoro. Do you have any words on the topic at hand? Call me Rusty, Madam Speaker. And as a matter of fact, I do. I did not start my timer yet. Okay, there we go. Rusty ambled down the aisle of the chamber. He came to stop between the two speaker podiums. Now, I won't take up too much of your time. The Baroness of Kelio summed up things pretty well. But I want to offer my point of view as a humble business owner of common birth. He looked at me and winked. Now, the Rizian Standard Dictionary defines gold as a yellow precious metal, used in jewelry and to guarantee the values of currencies. I'll just let him talk. But in Rizia, it's so much more. Commoners who have never even touched a ducat still feel proud to live on the shores of gold as we sing. But our shores have never been golden in the first place if our monarchs are listening to naysayers like Mr. Suzerain here. Your Majesty, your predecessors knew that there could be no prosperity without hard work. Our grit and determination today fills our nation's coffers tomorrow. But where does that grit go when the government's got our hands tied? How can we function as a company when you folks don't trust to take care of our own people? If I may ask, sir, how exactly would you propose tying? How would our proposal tie your hands? What makes it so difficult about regulating safety in gold mines? Don't play dumb, kid. You know, each mining site in Rizia is as unique as a birthmark on the arch-preach of years behind. A scandalized clatter broke out among the delegates. Daria banged her gavel for silence. Point is, there's no one-size-fits-all protocol for regulating what we do. The environment, the ore density, the tech being used, it all varies, even within parts of the same mine. We're doing our best to keep our workers safe on the job, but we also want them to go home with healthy paychecks. Your Majesty, esteemed delegates, we've been forced to develop a specialized protocols for every step, for every single nook and cranny of our business. We'll end up millions in a hole. Who even knows if anybody will be safer for it? Okay. Does seem more complicated. That does make it sound more complicated than Mr. Suzerain has made it out to be. Yes, well, he's a noble. Sooner or later, he's got to butt heads with the way the world really works. The views of nobility are hardly germane to this discussion. A quiet look of annoyance flushed across Daria's face. Mr. Montoro, I assume you are here as representative of the RRG, as well as Rizia's business community as a whole. Is it safe to say that your fellow executives share your opinions on the RPP's proposal? Rusty grinned toothfully. Oh, it's very safe to say that. Although it does strike me that your opponent's proposal could be implemented in, say, the construction industry without too much difficulty. Daria's grip on her podium tightened. Rusty stroked his chin thoughtfully. Come to think of it, I won't presume to speak up for the people of Madam Speaker's high and mighty circles. I am only one who cared enough to show up today, right? There's another thought. You regulate Rizian industries however you want, but maybe, just maybe, I think you make an exception to little old Rusty. He winked at me again. Manus drew a hand across his brow. Our proposal as it stands does not allow for exceptions. The king may alter it as he sees fit, but the RPP refuses to do so. Okay. Witness cavalier attitude towards employee safety. Giving some of the workers what they might want to divide them enough to head off organized dissent, right? Daria frowned. What it will do is hamper the majority of Rizian business while giving miners an unfair advantage. Rizia's other major corporations, run by families with much longer and illustrious histories than that of Miss Rontoro here, should not be punished simply because they do not happen to produce gold. There are whispers of agreement from several other RNC members. That you would refer to these perfectly reasonable suggestions as a punishment is indicative of where your loyalties lie, Madam Speaker. Hugo spoke up. Conley spoke up. The time for a vote is drawing close. To be clear, Ms. Sazan, you do not wish to amend the proposal to take into account Ms. Rontoro's comments? I do not, Your Grace. The King may choose to accept or ignore them at will. Then you have the floor, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Your Grace. As a reminder to you and His Majesty, this vote serves to demonstrate the opinion of the Rizian populace, and it is a non-binding recommendation. All those in favor of RPP's worker safety proposal, raise your hands. About a quarter of delegates, mostly those with green sashes, put their hands in the air. Those in favor of encouraging Rizian businesses, all businesses, to develop and enforce their own safety protocols on a voluntary basis. The rest of the delegates, an overwhelming majority, raise their hands. The delegates have an official recommendation. Rather than introduce sweeping and expensive labor reforms, Rizia should entrust the matter to the safety of its own business owners. Hugo nodded. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Final decision now lies in the hand of His Majesty King Romus. Will you accept or overrule the delegates' recommendations? You know what? Here's what I've decided. Everyone in the room went silent as they awaited my next words. I side with the delegate majority. The workplace safety proposals from the Rizian People Party shall not be undertaken. Damn straight, Your Majesty. My uncle gave Rusty a withering look. Silence, Miss Rontoro. Do not make His Majesty regret his decision. Madam Speaker, let the record show the King has aligned with the House majority. Noted, Your Grace. Daria made a note in her binder, then looked up at me, slightly smiling. Once again, I thank His Majesty for blessing us in his presence today, and Grand Vizier Hugo Toras for presiding over the session. It's an honor as usual, Madam Speaker. My fellow delegates and esteemed guests, this meeting is now adjourned. Any following up questions will have to be addressed in future sittings. She rang the bell again, and the room began to empty out. As the guards escorted me and Hugo towards the exit, I noticed Rusty still standing in the hall with his arms folded. Well, I'm a man of my word, aren't I? And I'm a man of mine, Your Majesty. He reached out to shake my hand. I suddenly felt a cool of metal against my palm. I withdrew my hand and took a closer look at the object he'd given me. My guy's dug... Oh, what'd I get? Oh, I got a medallion. My guys dug this up at the MIT's Ed a while back. Consider it a token of my appreciation. You got what you wanted. No need for bribery. Who do you think I am? It's out of the goodness of my heart. For those revisions to the RG shareholder contract, my lords will be in touch with the paperwork. Raising a stake won't be free, naturally, but I'll give you a royal discount. I will see you soon, Your Majesty. Your Grace. He bowed and then began whistling jauntily as he walked past me out the door. Hugo shook his hand with disdain. You were right to side with the RNC. The more the Rizian roll of gold we can snatch back from the man's hands, the better. Okay, so what did we get? Is it on the table? Because they usually put stuff on the table. Hey, there it is. The Worshris Medallion. Oh, it's got like a little picture of a... What is that? Like a little rat? 316. Okay, fantastic. So what else do we got going on? Okay, conversation with her mother. Rizian gold. I mean, I only have $1. But how much do I need? Because I don't know if I can back out. I might need to sell stuff now. I might need to sell some money. They're not going to like it, but I need to sell these weapons, I think, in order to be able to afford the stake. I don't know how much it's going to cost. In exchange for rejecting the Rizian People Party's proposal for gold mining regulations, Rossi Montoro and the Royal Rizian Gold has given us the opportunity to raise our royal stake in the company. Can I sell more? So I can't sell more. Which is a bit of an issue. I was kind of hoping I would be able to... I don't know if I would even be able to get more money. Can I... I can't load, right? Oh, no, I can load. Okay, I'm gonna load the save. Because I didn't know how much it would cost. And one of the issues with Suzerain is that once you've kind of clicked into like that like option, you can't go back and try to sell more. So what do I need? Do you think you need 5? Yeah, so yeah, so this is just right after. So we need to, we've already sold the weapons. Can I sell more weapons? Because I do need money. Second batch. -1 authority. These people are going to hate it more. But we do make a lot of weapons. This is like 2 turns of guns. Which honestly I don't think is like that much. Okay, so now we have $5. Is $5 enough? Yes, there we go. Raise stake to 45%. It's going to cost us 5, but it gives us +2 per turn, which I think is more than worth it. I wonder what the most you could. That's probably the one you can do. So, King Romus has increased the royal stake in Rizian Royal Gold, with the monarchy now owning 45% of the profitable company. We can't help but wonder why not more of the pride of Rizia's economy is on the hands of our king instead of being controlled by some capitalist like Rusty. But this is a vast improvement and the indicator of our king's economic plans for the country. So that'll pay off. I mean, it pays off within like 3 turns. So I think it's definitely worthwhile. When asked during a press conference, Morella's Prime Minister Alma Sultana said she's welcomed Rizia's decision to take control of a larger part of its royal gold corporation. She reiterated her government's position that a country should be in control of their own natural riches, and which should, in her view, never be owned by either the capital nor foreign power. Okay, let's go have a nice talk with my mother. It was a night before my trip to Kairut for the Alliance of Nations meeting. I had just finished some last-minute preparations in my study. I carefully made my way back towards the palace's residential ring. It was later than I realized. The halls were dead silent, illuminated only by a weak shafts of moonlight through the windows. Grand Wiseman Ignatius' quarters were on the ground floor. I saw a light coming out of the keyhole. I'll peer in. Shh, don't let him know. I carefully bent down and looked inside. Sal was rocking back and forth in his armchair, his eyes closed. He seemed to be mouthing a prayer. Just before the stairs of the entrance was to Vina's room. Through the door, I caught a faint strains of her voice. I'm a nosy man. I'm a nosy man. Oh, don't be so blue. Honestly, what were you expecting? No, I won't talk to him. He's in Kairut for the next few days anyway. Yes, my love. Oh my God, my daughter's having. You talking to the Manson? There was a clunk as she hung up the phone. I moved away and kept walking. I reached the top floor. Across the hall from the bedchamber, the Queen's mother door was open a crack. I looked in. My mother was standing out on her balcony, her back turned towards me. I heard her whisper softly to herself. Can't sleep? She looked startled for a moment and then smiled. Don't worry about me, darling. You should be resting yourself. She lit a cigarette and blew smoke out into the gardens. All set for tomorrow? Of course I am. The Alliance of Nations won't know what hit it. That's my boy. Are you planning on dressing the elephant in the chamber, aren't you? I mean, which elephant? There are many. I wonder that you world leaders can squeeze in amongst all the pachyderms. But I was afraid, Aziel. Or have you forgotten all the handover deadline is imminent? We need our land back, no matter what kind of announcement Victor Smolak has up his sleeve. Okay. Enough is enough. He'll pay for his disrespect. I care for Mr. Esquel dearly, but he's given Valen the benefit of the doubt for far too long. Okay. I've got a plan. You always do. Speaking of which, how is that bird of prey on your council proceeding with her investigation? Don't call Lucida that. I mean, it's a term of affection. She's got a beautiful beak. I hope she has inherited her family's unhealthy obsession with Palace. She mustn't distract herself from our real problems. I mean, they're all real problems. I mean, Palace is a real problem, Mother. The situation could easily spiral out of control. Palace is not ours to control in the first place. Ziel, on the other hand. She stubbed a cigarette on the balcony railing and sighed. Well, it's about time I get some rest. Wait, I had one more thing I wanted to ask you. About Vina. What about our princess? Did she get up to anything while I was in palace? As far as I can tell, she spent a lot of her time holed up in her room. Although, of course, I've heard the same rumors you have. What rumors? Come on, dear. Did you really think one dance in Chevelos would be enough for those two? She flicked a bit of ash from her cigarette off the balcony. I'll tell you this much. The last thing you want to do is forbid her from seeing him. I know, I'm not that stupid. Don't forget what happened when Rizia the Great tried to forbid her father from seeing the horror of Liziel. She laughed loudly. Next thing you know, she's throwing all her influence at the council to persuade them that the fisherman's daughter is a suitable match for a prince. Okay. Then what do I do? I don't want him infecting her with dangerous ideas. She cast a sidelong glance at me. I think you should be more worried about putting House Zazan a single body away from the throne. That too. The way I see it, you could use the pairing to keep a close eye on the opposition, assuming Vina trusts you enough to pass along information about her paramour's family. Not a bad idea. Or there's one other thing you could do. You send the princess on a nice, relaxing trip abroad. Nothing cures love sickness like a change of scenery. A diplomatic mission, perhaps? Distract Vina and prove our international relations standing in one go. And if she meets some dashing foreign prince over there, consider it a bonus. She yawned theatrically. And with that, my time to turn in. You know what? Thanks for all your advice. What's a mother for? I wish her good night and left the room. I heard her light click off. I returned to my quarters to see Titus take his post beside my door. I wonder how long he'd been shadowing for me. In my room, Pabelo was already packing my suitcase and turned the bed down. I climbed into bed, but was too distracted by thoughts of the day ahead to sleep. Yeah, he's my gay lover, I'll tell you that much. Morella! Hostile. Okay, very cool. Everyone hates me. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but not a lot of people are really my... they don't like me. At all. But I will say, what I would like is to end this episode here. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Did not enjoy, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe. And goodbye.